it's Addie
and Kenzie
from Florida Parks After Dark, and we are back with another Disney Read Aloud. This time, it's one of our favorite childhood movies, Finding Nemo.
Finding Nemo!
And so this is going to be the story of Finding Nemo from Marlin and Dory's perspective. There's another version that has Nemo in the tank later on in this Pixar storybook of ours, but today we just wanted to get the big adventure part of the movie,
Because that's the part that's well known in this movie.
Because everybody loves a good Marlin and Dory adventure.
Also, Dory was like the fan favorite, so
Finding Nemo, the Big Search.
Alright.
One day, a little clownfish named Nemo went on a field trip. His classmates dared each other to swim toward a boat that was anchored nearby. Nemo's father, Marlin, warned his son not to go, but Nemo didn't listen. He was tired of his dad thinking he was too little to do anything. Marlin was overprotective of his son. Nemo had been the only survivor when a barracuda attacked Nemo's mother and a nest full of eggs she had laid. Plus, Nemo's right fin had always been smaller than the left one, which worried Marlin even more. As Marlin called out to him, Nemo reached the boat and slapped it with his fin. Just then, a scuba diver snatched Nemo. Before Marlin knew it, his son was gone. "Nemo!" he cried. "No! No!" Marlin swam after the boat, but it quickly disappeared.
"Help me!" Marlin shouted to a group of fish who were swimming by. "Has anybody seen a boat?" Finally, a regal blue tang named Dory stopped to help. "It went this way," she said. "Follow me!" But Dory was a very forgetful fish. She led Marlin in circles because she couldn't remember anything. Marlin decided that following Dory wasn't going to help him find his son. He turned to go and came face to face with a big shark.
The shark took Dory and Marlin to a sunken submarine to meet his two friends. Marlin was worried that the sharks would attack them, but the sharks said they were trying to learn not to eat other fish. Then Marlin spotted the mask of the scuba diver. He remembered seeing one fall from the boat that had taken Nemo before it sped away. Dory wanted to see if the sharks could read the writing on it, but Marlin didn't. He still didn't trust the sharks. Dory and Marlin struggled over the mask so much that it hit Dory's nose and made it bleed a little. Once the shark named Bruce smelled blood, he couldn't control himself. Now he wanted to eat Dory and Marlin. Bruce chased the two fish while his friends tried to stop him. Finally, they managed to escape.
But their adventure wasn't over yet. Dory and Marlin still had the mask with the writing on it. Luckily, Dory remembered that she knew how to read. Just then, she accidentally dropped the mask. The two fish swarmed after it into the deep, dark water. Soon, they spotted a glowing ball. As they swam closer, they saw that the ball was attached to a scary anglerfish. Marlin tried to escape the anglerfish so Dory could read the writing on the mask. "Speed read," he commanded. Dory read, "P. Sherman, 42, Wallaby Way, Sydney." That had to be where Nemo was. The anglerfish charged. Marlin and Dory held the mask up. The anglerfish slammed into it and ended up trapped with the mask on its face. Marlin and Dory quickly swam away.
Marlin decided he should go to Sydney alone. Dory was always forgetting things, and she took a long time to do everything. He needed to get to Nemo as soon as possible, so he told Dory he would go on without her. "You mean you don't like me?" Dory asked. She started to cry. A group of moonfish overheard what Marlin had said and swam over to comfort Dory. When Marlin asked them how to get to Sydney, they wouldn't give him directions. But when Dory asked, they pointed in the direction of the East Australian current. Marlin decided to let Dory go with him after all.
Marlin had already started swimming away when one of the moonfish gave Dory a tip. "When you come to a trench, swim through it, not over it," he warned. Soon Dory and Marlin came to the trench. and Marlin wanted to swim over it. Dory thought that was wrong, but she couldn't remember why. So they went with Marlin's plan. As they swam over the trench, they were surrounded by a school of jellyfish. Marlin dodged their stinger tentacles, but when he turned around, he didn't see Dory. "Dory!" he called. He retraced his steps and found that she had been trapped by a jellyfish. Marlin was stunned several times as he pulled his friend to safety. Marlin and Dory were really tired from the jellyfish encounter. They drifted for a while, and soon everything went black.
When Marlin woke up, he was on the shell of a giant sea turtle named Crush. Dory was riding on the shell of another turtle. There were tons of turtles, all swimming the East Australian current towards Sydney. "Taking on the jellies! Awesome!" Crush exclaimed. Marlin told the younger turtles about how he was swimming the ocean to find his missing son. The turtles told other turtles, and the news was passed from one sea creature to another. Dory and Marlin rode on the turtle shells for a while. Before they knew it, the turtles were dropping them off near Sydney. As they swam through the murky water, they got lost. Dory decided to ask a whale for help, but as the whale approached, it quickly swallowed them. Marlin was frantic. "I have to get out! I have to find my son!" he cried.
Then the whale began to groan. It swam towards the surface, and water came out of its spout, along with Marlin and Dory. They looked around. The whale had taken them to Sydney Harbor. The two fish looked all night for the boat that had taken Nemo, but they couldn't find it. The next morning, they were scooped up by a pelican. The pelican wanted to eat them, but Marlin had had enough. "I didn't come this far to be breakfast," he cried. He and Dory struggled until the pelican finally let them go. "I gotta find my son Nemo!" Marlin yelled. Another pelican, named Nigel, overheard him. "I know where your son is," he said. He had heard lots of stories about a dad who was braving his way through the ocean to find his son. Plus, he met Nemo himself at the dentist's office, where the little clownfish was living in a fish tank.
Nigel put some water in his beak, picked up Marlin and Dory, and flew toward Wallaby Way. When they got to the office, they saw Nemo, but he looked like he was dead. Marlin didn't know that Nemo had been pretending to be dead so that he could get back to the ocean. The dentist pushed Nigel out the window. In the chaos, Nemo fell onto a tray. After a struggle with the dentist's bratty niece, Darla, and with some help from the other fish in the tank, Nemo was catapulted into the dentist's sink. He went down the drain. "Don't worry," shouted one of the tank fish. "All drains lead to the ocean." Since Marlin thought Nemo was gone, he asked Nigel to drop him and Dory back in the harbor. Marlin was heartbroken. He thought he'd lost Nemo. He thanked Dory for her help and told her that it was time for them to go their separate ways. "I'm sorry," he said, "but I want to forget."
At that moment, Nemo popped out of the sewer drain in the harbor and into the claws of some crabs. Luckily, he escaped and ran to Dory. She didn't know who Nemo was at first. Then she spotted a sign on the pipe that said Cindy and remembered everything. Nemo was the fish they've been searching for. She had to get Nemo and his father back together. Dory and Nemo swam quickly and caught up with Marlin. "Nemo!" Marlin cried. "Daddy!" Nemo shouted. They were so happy to see each other. Just then, Dory got caught in a fishing net along with a school of grouper fish. Thinking quickly, Nemo swam into the net. Marlin was worried. His son would get hurt, but Nemo convinced his dad he could help. As Nemo yelled, "Swim down!" to the other fish, Marlin joined. The fish swam downward and the net broke. All the fish were free. Marlin swam to Nemo.
Marlin was overjoyed to have his Nemo back again, and during the search, he'd made some amazing friends, especially Dory. even if she couldn't always remember who he was. The end.
All right, that was one of the short little stories from this book called the Storybook
Disney Pixar Storybook Collection. So, as always, guys, if you enjoyed this video, subscribe to our channel, because we have plenty more read-alouds like this there already, and plenty more coming, of course. Click the like, tell us in the comments what we would like to see more of.
Don't forget to click that bell.
Yes, click the bell and you'll be notified when we post new videos. And as always, have a great day or night or whatever it may be.
Just
Bye-bye.
keep swimming, everyone.